I will talk about, yes, the font has changed. That wasn't my choice, this font up there. This full topic of this presentation is broad resolution, that means rozdzielczość chleba, experiences of an independent, not-for-profit culture making in a semi-peripheral country. It sounds very professional, but believe me, this presentation won't be anything but professional. Yes, and the broad resolution is the name of our art collective. I'm not sure if English gives the right meaning to that word, because in Polish rozdzielczość chleba means, yes, this is resolution, like resolution of the screen, but it's also connected with sharing. That means bread resolution or resolution of bread means for us something like sharing a bread across a digital matrix, yes, something like that, and it gives certain context to things we are doing, because we are attached to the idea of sharing, of certain digital communism, and the bread, yeah, because we like to eat and drink. So. Yes, that's the quick summary of what we are doing as a rozdzielczość chleba art collective. I will talk about, yes, in the first slides, I will talk something about what we do and how we do it, and then I will focus on our experiences with Creative Commons, because this is like about copyright conference, so I will focus on our experiences with Creative Commons, because since the beginning, we are focused on Creative Commons, publishing within a free and open culture. So. We started as a group of poets that we are doing experimental poetry. After some time, we've decided to form a more institutionalized collective. We've opened a publishing house that was just called Bread Resolution, yes. It was in the end of 2011. And since that year, we publish books and we give them away for free. Every book that we've published, we publish also magazines. Every of that book is available online for free to download on our website, yes? We also promote literary and digital interactions and code them ourselves. That means we create certain algorithms, we share knowledge about creating algorithms that create literary text, yes? We've created generators that create poetry, and this is, well, we hope at least that this is good poetry, yes? Not some certain just mixed up words or sentences, but meaningful works of art that are created using computers, algorithms, and coding or hacking. We also perform and organize exhibition. That means we are not just confined to digital sphere. We've started to organize parties, concerts, exhibitions, and spread this idea of doing things for free, to share it without attachment to copyright, without attachment to authorship, and do it in a real life, in a material world, yes? And yes, in the next slide, there should be, yes, and our monthly due is 15 zlotys. There are now 7 people in the collective, and we pay every month, we pay 15 zlotys. That's like, I think, $3 or $4, and this money is used to finance our works. If we need something, we use our monthly dues to finance it. Yes, and yes, our team is fluctuating. The people in the team are changing, but we try to love each other. This sounds like, I don't know, something very wise, but I think that points to the very idea that we aren't attached to the idea of who is in the collective, that the idea of authorship isn't very important for us. For us, the author of our work is just rozdzielczość chleba, just bread resolution, not one of us. Of course, you can trace it, you can find on the cover of the book that I myself was an author of that given book, but we created as a collective. We are not attached to the idea of being an author of a work, of a given work of art. And this is very, I think, important mindset to leave it behind this, the idea of individual, creative individual that creates works of art. What else? Yes, this is a slide with some of our publications. As I've said before, around 20 of them. There's covers of some of them. There's a book on remix, theories of practices of remix. There's a center on visual poetry, experimental poetry. There are some albums, exhibition albums and folders. There are certain magazines that we publish. Those are covers of those things we have published. And as I've said before, and this is like crucial to this speech, they're all available for free on our website. And they are like good things. And yes, so this is the executive summary of our corporation. We have free publication, around 20 of them. We do poetry, new media, conceptual art, performances, interactive works, and exhibitions. Everything we do is licensed on Creative Commons licenses since the very beginning, and that was just like the idea of our publishing house. We were banned from Institute of Polish Culture because we used Pope with one of our works, so our cooperation with the institute was stopped because of that. And our goal is to be a company that makes everything, that do in every possible sphere of human culture to do a thing and publish it for free, to make it available online if it's possible, or available for free in real world. And Rozdział Chlepel is our website. What else we have here? Yes. So let's go to the idea of Creative Commons. In the beginning, the idea of Creative Commons was very important for us. We are fascinated by the idea of distributed authorship, that the given work of art can be changed by the audience, that the audience can interact with this work, can change it, can share it, can remix it, and, I don't know, do it whatever the audience wants with the given work of art we create. So we are only considered ourselves as say, initiators of a given certain process of interactions between artists, public, audience, and audience themselves, and say culture, just culture. So we've thought that the idea of Creative Commons is interesting thing. It's very interesting. That's like revolutionary concept to implement this thing not only in, let's say, free and open software, as we were interested in the free and open software. Just let's do it in the literary, in the art world, in visual arts. And are Creative Commons licenses interesting for people in Poland? The answer is no. Nobody's interested in that. And in fact, after a few years, we've ourselves become less and less interested in the idea of Creative Commons, because really, I cannot really remember an interaction that we have started. Yes, we have. Maybe it's because of our work isn't so good to create such interactions. But nobody ever used the Creative Commons. Our licenses are kind of departure for he, her, or his work of art. So this gave us. We started thinking about the very idea of Creative Commons. And what does it mean to make free and open culture? Yes. Is Creative Commons an answer, just this liberal idea of copyright is an answer to this free and open culture? And the first answer was, no, it's really boring. The copyright is boring. We shouldn't really just do anything with that. But the second answer was, well, perhaps there's something we can do with it, and how to make this free and open culture. Probably this is not a very strict term I'm using, but I'm attached to it. So we have to work with the idea of Creative Commons, and what can we do with it? Does it work? Oh, yes. Yes. So probably if I should choose a slide that summarizes this speech, this is that one. The need, the will, and ability to participate in Creative Commons culture will not be created by creative culture itself. That means the licenses, that for us was a revolutionary idea, won't really do anything if they are not used in a proper way. Yes, that was for us hard lesson after publishing first books, first magazines that haven't really started that fire that we were interested in. So after now it's 6 years of experimenting and doing stuff, we are sure that the licenses only begin. In fact, probably the less interesting thing in the whole process of this Creative Commons culture. You know? I think that's the meaning of that slide. So we started with digital first. That means we should publish everything online so that everyone can download, remix it, change it. We should publish source code for our products. But it didn't really work. Why? Because people don't like reading things on the computer. They prefer to have paper. If they can have paper, then they do prefer to have their books on paper. So we started after some time, to print our books. Yeah, we are really attached to the idea of digital first or digital only, but the people wanted to have paper. Yeah? The reviewers in the newspapers or cultural magazines said, I won't review a book if it isn't on paper because I don't use computer to read books. So yes, we started to print books. We were asked for that. You've break your ideology, you've break your idea of rozdzielczość chleba, but yeah, we had to do it. And the second lesson was that people love people. That means you cannot really enjoy culture or works of art being alone in your own house, yes? That's the connected with this people love parties. Because when we've started to promote our works, not only through computer, through Facebook or whatever, but doing parties around them, then this publicity of things we do just increased, yes? And this idea of Creative Commons was something only in a seed within this much bigger thing of creating events that everyone invited, everyone can participate in. They cannot just download the file. There's a certain event, a certain culture, a trend, or however you call it, that you can participate in without using your computer, without need to know Creative Commons, without knowing anything about copyright, just participating in it, yes? So, yes, and then we came to a word populism, to call it, yes? After this, the idea of Creative Commons was somehow boring and that nobody was interested in copyright. And in fact, we are not interested in copyright anymore. We are interested in populism. That means that's just popular culture. That doesn't mean that this has this liberal copyright license. This given work of art just belongs to everyone. We are not interested on certain legal or limitations to distribution of creating works. So this whole sphere of talking about copyright is just not interesting. We just wanted for people to have fun with our products. And this was like interesting evolution of our idea. What does it mean to distribute bread? Yeah, we've started the distribution of digital works and we've came to that this material bread, this beer should be distributed among our audience. So we think that this Creative Commons culture, this popular culture that is without idea of copyright should be free and accessible for everyone. This is very important because often experimental avant-garde artists that use free and open licenses create very sophisticated works that nobody can relate to, I think so. So nobody's interested in this open and free and open culture because you cannot really comprehend what's happening in those works. So we think that it should be free and accessible, that even like people who don't use computer every day should have known what to do with a given work of art. It should be anti-establishment, that's obvious, because you cannot do anti-copyright art or anti-copyright culture with working together with the establishment. You just have to fight it. And it should be post-copyright. That is another word that we've started using. That means we don't care about copyright. We don't care about Creative Commons. We just publish and distribute our works without even thinking, without giving our audience the reason to think about copyright. You can just do whatever you want to do with it, and it's just, like, say, it's... how do you say it in English? It's just your business. Yes, it's not our business to care about such things as authorship of copyright. It's just your business. Do it whatever you want. Copyright is a passé concept for us. And yes, this is the final slide. And again, I don't quite understand it, because copyright is a kind of thing of the past, yet we have to get rid of traditional means of distribution and traditional ways of participation. I mean, those are grand words, and I believe I had a great idea how to summarize it. What does it mean, does traditional means of distribution and traditional ways of participation, but I'm not sure now. So I've came with another idea how to summarize this presentation. I've thought of that this all creative, open culture should be like in this motto of free and open software, that it should be free as free speech and free as in free beer, but it should also taste like beer, yeah? So that people want to taste it, drink it, and participate it. And yeah, I think that's all. Yes, that's all. We love populism.